Thank you for joining Brain Minutes. This is a channel dedicated to the pursuit of information. The responsibilities of day-to-day life takes up most of our time, so don't waste your time on junk. We recap a host of educational or newsworthy events in order to satisfy curiosity and casual learning. Special thank you to Precious Sermon Recaps and Life American Made. Now enjoy. Mohanda Gandhi was born on October 2, 1869, in the western part of India under British colonial rule. At a tender age of 13, Gandhi was married to a 14-year-old girl in Kasturbai. A few years later, his father died, which made his family send him for studies in England. While studying, Gandhi developed an interest in the philosophy of nonviolence, as taught in the Bhagavad Gita, Jesus Christ's Sermon on the Mount, and Hindu sacred scripture. In 1891, Gandhi returned to India, having passed the bar, but he was unsuccessful in his practice. Fortunately, he found an opportunity to work in South Africa, where he helped in lawsuits. Upon settling in Natal, Gandhi experienced racism and South African laws that limited the rights of Indian laborers. He recalls one instance where he was thrown out of a first-class railway compartment. Gandhi did take action. He progressively became involved in efforts to end discrimination against Indian minorities. White supremacy was a common thing in South Africa, but Gandhi vowed to fight against both British and Boers. The Boers are the descendant of Dutch settlers in the region. Initially, Gandhi had planned to stay for a year but extended until 1914. He successfully founded the Natal Indian Congress, which served Indian interests, and commanded the Indian Medical Corps that fought with the British against the Boers between 1899 and 1901. Gandhi's involvement in the war made him prominent in South Africa. Moreover, he became adamant in his principles, renouncing modern technology, upholding sexual abstinence, and developing satyagraha, meaning soul force. This is an approach of non-violent resistance commonly known as non-cooperation. Gandhi and his allies used it against their oppressors. Gandhi and his native Indians were admired for their willingness to be jailed and punished, and consequently, they won a concession from British and Boer rulers. In 1914, Gandhi left South Africa and returned to India. Locally he was known as a holy man, and people referred to him as Mahatma or Great Soul. To a point, Gandhi was loyal to the British Empire, but when the empire cracked down on civil liberties, he began to plan non-violent protests. The British became more oppressive, and British troops killed peaceful protesters. Gandhi organized a large campaign against the British, which he was imprisoned for, from 1922 to 1924. After he was released, Gandhi chose to withdraw from politics and work in peasantry. However, Gandhi was pulled back into politics. In 1930, he wrote the Declaration of Independence and led the Salt March protesting against the British monopoly in natural resources. That made an impact across India, and the British invited him to the Round Table Conference. Although Gandhi was received in India, the conference found an issue with how Indian independence would handle the Muslim minority, forcing him to withdraw from the public. In 1935, the government of India surrendered some power to India National Congress and its citizens, who clamored for more. During World War II, India experienced violence, and numerous nationalist leaders went to prison, including Mahatma Gandhi. When the war ended, the British wanted to disassociate from India as soon as possible. Muhammad Ali Jinnah demanded a separation. Congress and the British agreed upon the request. In August 1947, both India and Pakistan attained independence. Nonetheless, no measures were taken to solve social issues. Both Muslims and Hindus started killing each other at an alarming rate. Gandhi's heart was broken by the alarming crimes and tried to calm the country, but it was in vain. On January 30, 1948, Mohanda Gandhi was assassinated by a Hindu nationalist, and it was a great loss for both India and Pakistan. His impact on the world and his beliefs would help inspire many civil rights leaders. The most famous would be Martin Luther King. Thank you for listening to Brain Minutes. Please like and subscribe.